So what's the next in enterprise technology?
There's a lot of things going on in technology at the moment with cloud and with a lot of the Industry 4.0 capabilities that are coming out. Organizations have plenty of opportunity to be able to implement and take advantage into the future and how they get connected and better connected with their customers, how they maintain that customer relationship, because we know that's really important in this environment. But also just look at what's coming next around the corner. I mean, data is at the heart of technologies. So how do you capture it? And that's using Internet of Things to capture that kind of data. How do you process it through your organization? How do you make sense of it? So leveraging cloud capabilities such as that, and then being able to optimize your business, whether at the front office, when you're dealing with customers in the food and beverage or in the retail store, even in the back office, where you're looking at supply chain. And that's something that many organizations are dealing with. How do we get more visibility, transparency? How do we move the product faster and more efficiently and get the right products to the right places at the right time? So we're seeing a lot of technology changes. And then you're seeing at the same time experiments such as augmented, mixed reality, virtual reality, which is more in the B2B world than the B2C world, but we'll see over time that start to be more pervasive, more, more visible within the actual end of the supply chain, which is where the consumer is at.
Yeah, and I think you're spot on about data, and it's how, with the whole customer experience, it's how companies take that data and use it. Because, it used to be a bit of click and collect, but now, people want to order on their phone, they want it delivered at home at a certain window, they want to be able to return via any hub. And as companies collect all of this data, they can better manipulate their supply chain and actually better predict what customers are going to want. And I think in the fashion world, certainly over seasons, they can use a lot of that data and get to know your customer a lot better.
Yeah, and I'll give you an example. So with customers that I work with over the last 2 years, especially during the COVID pandemic, the number one thing that came out of it was how to better connect with the customer. And there's a lot of ways you can connect with the customer and grab data. I mean, back in the day when they physically came into a store, there's only so much you could capture. Now with digital channels, online, you're able to see how they're moving through their website, what they're buying, when they're buying, if they're loyal. And we all know that trying to acquire a customer is harder than maintaining a customer. They spend, and existing customers spend more, around 30%, and they spend more at your stores and with your brands. So that's really quite important. So how do you better deal, getting the right assortment, having the right products, and even when it comes to returning, because we know reverse logistics and getting the product back is a key part of this world today. We talk about omnichannel, it is the default. It's not as an aspiration anymore. You have to have that capability in place because convenience is key.
Yeah, and actually it's quite interesting what you say about people spending more, because I think as the brands collect that information about where you're searching, for example, when your birthday is, they know this information and they know your style. So it's interesting, they become better at targeting you, and clearly you'll end up purchasing more, which is a bad habit for some, but it's definitely right for the brands.
Yeah. But you look on the opposite side, we talk a lot about the customer, but what about the organizations that are producing, they're sourcing all these different products? And you talked a lot about fashion and retail, but in the food and beverage, we've got customers that are leveraging data and leveraging IoT and even visual recognition to better feed in the fisheries. So they can optimize those sort of aspects, so that the fish are converting more meat, and then it's more production that goes all the way through to the actual grocery stores. So again, technology is being leveraged throughout, but we know the core theme, a lot of that is around data, because only so much we as humans can process. But when you've got the capabilities behind it, and then you actually leverage that data at the end and making that decision the right point, it's bringing together art and science, and that's very powerful proposition.
Yeah, and I think, Brad, as well, it's interesting, it's across all sectors. So even in the coffee market, yes, you can load up a loyalty card and then you can pay as you go, but you can order in advance now and collect it. These are all certain enhancements that have been made for that better customer experience. But actually, a huge amount of data comes in about where these people are buying at what time of the day, so they can, the coffee companies can be better prepared for everything that's going ahead. But on the other side, you can see now subscriptions coming in. And again, you wonder why would they take the subscription? But then again, there's an uplift for other products that they're buying, which have a higher margin.
Right.
And again, you feed all of this data back in, and it's a better customer experience.
100%. I think the thing to keep in mind, though, with data, again, with a lot of the interactions I have with senior leaders across many different industries, when we look at what are the aspects that we can solve, whether it's technology around changing people, enhancing people, process, data technology, data is still a small amount as a solver. So for me, we're at the beginning of that wave. There's so much more that we can do, and a lot of organizations really do need to get their foundation right, get a mindset of actually leveraging data so they can use it in the right way to benefit in the way they run their business in a, maybe changing business model or optimizing what they're doing today.
And Andrew, are you seeing any changes in the whole supply chain in terms of technology?
I mean, sustainability is becoming a really big theme for many organizations. It's been driven by consumers, but we're seeing an increasing amount of government involvement. There's new legislation coming in, whether you're in Europe, the US, or specific countries. So people are having to deal with sustainability. Now, we used to think of it as just a luxury or a niche thing that you paid extra for, but today it's much broader. I mean, we have to think about things like, resources are becoming scarce, that energy is in short supply, that labor is a challenge. So we need to think about, how do we deliver more sustainably. So a lot of it's about reducing waste. The United Nations defined 17 initiatives around sustainability. So many companies are looking at a few of those areas and how can they become more sustainable. We need to think and act differently going forward. So companies are looking at lots of different areas, whether that be environmental reporting, reusable packaging, whether it's recycling, reducing their energy. So there's many ways that you can address sustainability and become more sustainable. And I think one of the things that we've always thought was sustainability had a cost associated with it, but we're actually seeing that some companies are finding ways to become more sustainable that actually drive top-line financial benefits.